So, what do you get when you take the company who used to make racing games, who ended up making Doom, and you take the company who makes really good adventure games like Oblivion, Skyrim, heck, Prey? Those are some really good titles. But what do you get when you mix them? You get the Mad Max absolute disgusting grade, should be abortion, known as Rage. I have, and I shit you not, no more than just under 12 hours of game time in that game. And for what it is worth, I played this game in my childhood and I thought maybe, just maybe, I was too harsh on it as a kid. Maybe I didn't understand some story or plot, because this is supposed to be an M for mature game. I was in high school at the time, so maybe I just wasn't mature enough. Well, now that I can drink, I know that young me wasn't wrong. And that was in fact the worst game I have ever touched. There are 3 standout points from my childhood that I actually remember in that game. Step 1, Outback Desert Wasteland scene where I got to drive a 4-wheeler. That stuck. Part 2, skipping ahead a bit, Jackal Canyon. Right at the end of the game. That stayed in my head rent-free because the jackals were spooky as a kid. Excuse me. And part 3 was, I remember there being a really weenie, kind of just run to the end finisher. Yeah, actually, I think the end was technically finishable in like 5 minutes flat if you just speed ran the entire thing and didn't shoot anybody. Like, I want to be secondhand disappointed that I didn't remember more about this game. I also want to be secondhand disappointed that I gave this game a second chance, because it was on Steam for like $4 or $2.50, something like that. It was an atrociously low price. And even for that atrociously low price, I still felt like it was the next closest thing to highway robbery. I legitimately don't remember playing this game much as a kid. I remember playing it, being disappointed that it went so quickly, and going, huh. Okay, back to GameStop with that one. And I think I actually bought it like right as it came out, thinking it was going to be a good game. It was not a good game at all. I'm actually surprised that I even wanted to go back for a second run, because I remember it being bad in my mind. I'm trying not to be so hypercritical of games I've maybe not played or series that I thought I maybe didn't enjoy. I'm trying to go back. I mean, I wish I could go back to a lot of childhood series, but the wizard known as Sony hasn't released many of those for PC. We got the new God of War. We didn't get the old ones. We got Spyro and Crash reanimated and redone. But no. I want those 12 hours back. Even if some of those 12 hours were spent off screen doing anything but playing that game, I want those hours back. The starting pistol you get in the game is technically just as effective at the end of the game as some of the end game weapons. And the easy mode for the game is just spawning one of the scrap bots after you get the upgrade and letting him go apeshit. Shitterbot 9000 did more damage in the end game than I did with the BFG. It's just what it is. Things that it lacks in, if you're inside Wellspring or any city settlement area that's, not in the desert, you don't get a mini-map. You are on your own to go find wherever they're talking about. In Wellspring, if you do not know where the sheriff's office is on top of that building, you could do 2 to 3 loops of that city and never find the sheriff's office. Like the racing center, you got pretty good odds to finding that. The mayor's spot, yeah, there's a big sign that says mayor. He's right up front, and someone will actually point you to him. But when they say, go find Sheriff Black, it ain't happening the easy way. The game is, I think I read 23 or 24 missions long, which ain't bad. Assassin's Creed on average is about 20 to 25 missions, so I feel like that's pretty good standard for games. Most of the missions that you get optionally are just redoing missions you've already done. Like, hey, you cleared the bandits out of this location. Real good. Now go back in. There's a few stragglers. Hey, you know the mutants you just kicked out of the sewers? Sorry, Chief, you're gonna have to go back. And, like, I wouldn't mind it so much if there was good loot involved in going back. A good portion of the time, the best you're going to get is raiding the corpses of the people you kill, and like maybe $100 for finishing your mission. I won't say money was like an extreme struggle in the game, because they kind of just throw it at you. But if you're not going out of your way to just kill bandits or complete missions, you're going to be running that game pretty well broke. There's a few times where I ran out of like my favorite ammo, or I didn't have enough pieces for, you know, building more shitter bots or more RC car bombs. And it just felt wrong. I like games that put a genuine constraint on your resources, where it's like, oh man, am I going to need this for later? Or is this going to be really useful now to save me a lot of time? There didn't feel like there was that kind of constraint. The game was just like, yeah, stuff will die eventually. It doesn't really matter when you use this. Like, Feltrite was supposed to be like, oh, it's so rare. You learn that from one of the first few people you meet. It's like, you ever see some Feltrite, you only trade that for something you really want. And I took that to heart, thinking maybe I forgot something from my childhood. Maybe I needed a bunch of Feltrite for something. Nope. No, not a bit. I had, I think, upwards of almost 20 pieces of Feltrite in my inventory at the end. And I eventually got so sick of holding on to it with no results that I just sold it. And it was worth $25 a piece. Normally that I'd say that's an okay pull, but I was selling cans of gas and oil for cars for like $180 for like 2. So I guess Feltrite wasn't as rare as they made you think it was. It was every bit as horrid as I remember it being as a kid. The only thing I remember doing more as a kid was once I got those mind control bolts. I definitely used the crap out of those. As an adult, no. They feel horrible to use. I mean, for what it is worth, I will set my own personal differences in this aside. The first time I played it was on PS3, the console it was released for. I'm now playing it on a keyboard and mouse, so the layout's a little fucky. My mouse's DPI was way too high. I actually had to turn my DPI down because when I first started playing, I noticed I was scooting across the screen way too quickly and stuff was not in focus, so I turned my DPI down, and it was easier to aim after that. The first like hour of the video was me with high DPI, and it was not a great time. It also wanted to macro adjust to my smallest monitor, which is my third one, instead of my main monitor where I record from. So I had to sit there for almost 20 minutes after opening the game just monkeying with settings, because it doesn't let you select which display unit. You just have to go through the graphics button a bunch of times and figure out which one's actually the correct display unit. And then you have to pray that you get the aspect ratio correct in the first try, because if you don't, then you get to spend another 5-ish minutes trying to figure that out. Definitely ported without optimization. And I mean, I can't really complain too hard, because this was not one of their like high-selling wonderkin. Like, Skyrim has been ported to everything. I'm pretty sure if you tried hard enough, you can play that shit on a Samsung fridge. They've ported it to everything, and they've thought of every optimization for every port, because it's a beloved game that came out in 2012 from Bethesda. This was the ugly red-headed stepchild that came out in 2011 that Bethesda wants to kind of forget. And then they dropped part 2 like in the recent 5 or 6 years, I think. and it was met with less than lukewarm reception from what I hear. Pretty sure it went out and then went on sale within a month for like $15. If I see Rage number 2 go on sale for like $2.50 or $4, I'll grab it. I will stay open-minded to being disappointed. I'm open for anything. I'll try it at least once. If I hate it, I'll say I hate it. And as for Rage 1, I want my $2.50 back. I'm past the Steam refund timer, so I can't do that for myself, but no, never again. I'm gonna stick to more mainline titles in the future for my Let's Do's. I will be recording soon again for Assassin's Creed Syndicate. After I'm done with Syndicate, I have no idea where I'm going to go from here, so if anyone has any suggestions, I'm open to hearing them in the YouTube comments. If it's a turn-based action game or a card-playing game, I'm going to stop you right there, Chief. Don't. Never. Ever, ever. I don't want to play games like that. I've tried. They bore me to death. I played Hearthstone for 3 years. I did my time. But, yeah, I'll be back soon after I'm done drinking the rest of this drink and washing the flavor of rage out of my mouth. I hope everyone has a fair rest of their day, and I will catch you guys on the next video.